about? Who's that?
Yeah, not on this show. The
Yeah.
fuck?
Come on, Fox. Hey, look at that. We're live, just like that, having a good old time in the pre-chat.
Woo!
How's it going? It's Wednesday. What a fantastic day.
Hump day.
What a time to be alive. I swear, man. The holidays are singing, birds are singing, bees are trying to have sex with them or something like that. I don't know. I was always confused on that part. I'm sorry. I'm not very intelligent. What can I say? But anyway, it is Xbox Nation time, and we are going to have a great show. I've already got a lot of crap for the amount of topics and things like that I put in.
Scroll, man.
Dead Sea Scroll. That's what I do. That's sort of what we talk about. It's going to be a great show. Let me kick things off by introducing the man himself, Mooch.
What's up, buddy? Apparently, you want me to start yelling crap. Yes. It's a great night. Wednesday, Xbox Nation getting started. Get to pay tribute to Salty first and foremost. Salty, great review on Ashen, by the way. Absolutely thought it was. You talked me into getting into it. So,
thank you.
Great work on that. And to be honest with you, there's so many great games to play. I'm kind of at a point where I think it was Colt that did he did a poll the other day, crap, and he said basically, what's got everybody kind of all wound up on Twitter and this and that? And it was, he listed a couple things that were just comical, and one of them was, do you guys have a backlog that's so like getting out of control that it's kind of got you bummed? And that's me. There's so many games right now to play and to go through and discuss, and topics of Game of the Year come up. But there's just so much. And then now you've got DLC coming out. I mean, Assassin's Creed DLC comes out. It doesn't end. It doesn't end. So from now all the way till I would say Resident Evil 2's remake. I don't know. I don't even know where to go next after Red Dead. And I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me out.
You don't know. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. We've also got.
Good thing Crap's not a doctor. So, what do you think? What can you do for me? Next.
If I had to guess, I'd say I don't know. I don't know. We've also got the saltiest mofo here, Salty Gamer. What's up, bro?
Hey, the response to my review has been outstanding today. First of all, I want to thank everybody that has supported. Man, I put some extra time in there. Here's the story with me. I like to kind of go off the cuff, and I've done that since I've been in YouTube. But this time I actually sat down and wrote out a script, so that's probably why it's a little bit better. So just trying to put some more production value into stuff that I do. Got my new computer. I got to live up to the power here. So also I used my warranty at Best Buy for my Switch because I was playing Zelda last night, and my horse was like going to the left all the time, and I was getting pissed off. I was like, what is going on here? So instead of buying a new Joy-Con, I just took the whole damn thing back and got a brand new Switch.
Smart. Wow, smart man. Yeah. Switching it up. You know what? I still haven't played more than 5 minutes of Smash Brothers. I want to, but life has other plans for me. Hey, if you guys are coming in, please share it out, like it, all that kind of good stuff. Let's get a good crowd in here tonight because there's a lot of cool stuff to talk about. We've also got the queen of Foxy deals, despite what she said on Twitter. I don't know what that's all about. Foxy, what's up? How's it going?
What's up, everybody? How are you guys doing? But yeah, I mean, I may share a deal here or there once or twice,
Maybe. I mean, we are in the holiday season. People want those deals.
Yes, this is true. I'm going to definitely be dropping some of those as we get closer. And I think Xbox is going to do another thing, right? Where they do a countdown or something, and they're going to have more deals.
I'm expecting that countdown because they're probably going to want to do some big deals with, the Game Pass and all that kind of stuff. And then they do every day. I guess you get some kind of new deal or whatever. I mean, that's what they traditionally do.
Yeah, at this point, they might as well give away Fallout and Battlefield, I think, because they're still $30, I think. So I don't know what's happening there.
I don't think they are.
It's no. You don't think?
Yeah,
I don't think Fallout's $30 anymore.
No.
Well, maybe it is like lower because I know I saw it for like 40 or something, and I figured, maybe it's 30 or something physically.
It had that huge deal. What was it there around Thanksgiving or post Thanksgiving when we were having? We talked about
Black
it.
Friday, Cyber Monday. Yes.
Yep. So it was definitely half off then, and I think I saw Snapchat that went back up to $60 after that.
Okay. Well, I was going by like some of the deals I saw online for physical, so maybe Maybe some of those are on sale. Yeah, depending on the location.
And it's great to have these conversations with like Foxy, because I mean, Foxy still collects, but I think Foxy still gets digital games as well.
I do both, man.
I know, and don't get me wrong. Each game kind of calls for its own, purchase and how it's purchased. Pardon me, but realistically, crap, I don't see how. I mean, my God, you see GameStop put their numbers out. I mean, and there's there's analysts that have come out. Forget the analysts and the predictions. Forget that. They've tried every single look at the Rubik's Cube, and they cannot figure out how this company is going to be able to rebound. And that's because the physical's dying.
They're not going to.
They're not. That's exactly it. So no matter what it is,
they're going to disappear soon.
And that kind of hurts me. It's not something that makes me feel better. Of course, I prefer digital, so I'm not helping their cause. But let me tell you something. I still buy all my consoles from them. I still buy anytime I buy anything Nintendo, I buy it from them. It's nice to have the relationship you have with your local store and keeping, they're not mom and pop, but they're still keeping local people employed. So it's kind of a bummer in that retrospect. And as gamers growing up all these years and all those fond memories of midnight releases and things like that, people 10 years from now, they're really not going to know anything of what the hell we're talking about. And that kind of sucks for them.
They're like, you had to wait in line until 12:30 to get your game? Fuck that.
Yeah, right? They're like, what are you talking about?
It's going to be like that Back to the Future where he's like, oh, you use your hands? That's a baby toy, right?
Yeah, that was good.
People are going to think that. The funny thing is I associate some really good experiences with waiting in lines to pick up games and hardware. So,
that's how I met a lot of good friends, definitely.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I never met any good friends, but some weirdos.
Oh, damn, Crappy. Crappy's like, get away from me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Don't touch me. I do have, we're going to get to our last panel member in a second. It's all good. But anyway, I have a really funny story, right? So back when the Nintendo Wii originally came out, right? You guys remember 2006? That thing came out, right? And that holiday was the hottest thing you could get. And Hellhammer, who let me think, when was that?
He was a baby boy at the time.
He was like 14 or something. So so he won, and I camped out at a Circuit City, which also no longer exists.
R.I.P. Circuit City.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I was and it was cool because everybody was really nice, and I didn't know what to expect, right? So I'm just like sitting there in line. All these other people have like chairs and all this kind of cool stuff, right? And we just call each other by number. Like I was number 10. So I definitely got one. And, but they were cool enough because they were like, hey, if you want to go to Walmart across the street there and grab something to sit on, we'll save your spot. So that was really cool of them. I was able to go get some stuff and actually be a little bit better set up. So gamers are salt of the earth, like the Rolling Stones song. If you've never heard that song or heard of the Rolling Stones, go check them out because that's a good song.
Classic rock knowledge.
It is, man. Hey, I dropped the classic rock knowledge, and Xbox like, I don't even care about that.
He was like, yeah, moving on.
Moving on.
I had a story that I was trying to say. And
go ahead. Well, let me introduce Xbox. Xbox 439. What's up?
448.
What's going on?
117.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to an Xbox Live party, but it is live on YouTube. That is what Xbox Nation is.
Hell yeah.
I gotta say, when it comes to Salty, I gotta respect, you going freestyle when it comes to your videos, because that's pretty much what I do as well. I actually I tried to script the way you said that you did your review, but every time I noticed when I wrote stuff down, I would always put in the ums and the like I would actually write them in there, so it didn't really make a difference. So I just go freestyle. But what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Hump Day, Xbox Nation. Let's go.
Yes, so there is some pretty cool stuff to talk about. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Game Awards because we haven't done that yet on this show, Mooch and panel. So, okay, they had 26 million viewers.
Yep.
They announced some interesting things. This is like, what did it double the viewers last year? This is now a legitimate outfit. And, it was something cool to really kind of, I liked it. Right, like I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there was a couple little things that I feel like they could have done a little bit differently. But overall, I thought it was really good. They're starting to, like, you remember a few years ago when he started this, right? And I'm not even a Jeff Keighley fan, but when they started this, remember the big reveal was a Godzilla game, right?
Yeah.
And now they got Ed Boon up there revealing the next Mortal Kombat. You know, that to me says everything I need to know about where this show's going. I like it. They've got some interesting people up there presenting now. They actually let people present awards and they go up there and get it. So this year when Forza won, like the past years, They didn't just go, oh, by the way, buy Blue Bonnet butter, and then Forza Motorsport or whatever wins at the bottom. They actually, Greeny, very, it looked like crap, but he got up there on stage and was like, thanks. You know what I mean? So that I thought that was really cool. Like I said, the game reveals was cool. There was a good flow to it. Still maybe 20 minutes too long, you think? But overall, real good fun. Like, Mooch, what was your initial thoughts? Because I know you liked it too.
I did. I enjoyed it. The flow was very good. I think a lot of times when it comes to award ceremonies or anything like that, it's all about the flow. They had a good consistency of presenters, musicians, and then, they had interesting people come on and discuss things. So that was good. I mean, the award speeches went too long, sure. The show itself is too long, 3.5 hours, because you got to include the pre-show. And to be honest with you, other than that, Jeff Keighley, Jeff Keighley is the one that puts it all together. Jeff Keighley is the one that has the ties between the three companies. So I think the show would do better if they had a better start over again. Hey, cut, come back again.
Calm down.
Well, rewind.
It'd be better if they had a better host. But I think what they could do is possibly get something like, I was looking forward to maybe Jeff coming out and doing the introduction. Mm-hmm. Then you have like Aisha Tyler come out, right? Then you have like iJustine come out. Then you have even like, as corny as it sounds, even have like Greg Miller, or have people come out that are in the industry, that are entertainers, and do a little like comedic thing. There were two
they should get is Mooch and Crap to do a couple bits.
Well, Mooch and
right?
Crap are definitely, should be on the ticket. I agree. But nonetheless, I don't know. For some reason, I thought the show is getting, the good news is Crap are going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And for a while, I thought we were going in the wrong direction.
Anybody else? Like Foxy, what did you think? Salty, go ahead, man. Jump in. Let's go.
Yeah, I thought the show was actually really long. I think it was about an hour too long. I think they were just, and then another thing that bothered me, I'll get to the positives after this, but another thing that bothered me is a lot of the categories that they had listed there before the show, they kind of just like boom, 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 boom. We're just going to go through them like they're afterthoughts. And it's like, let's get to the trailers, or let's get to this and that. And it's like, if you're gonna have an award show, that needs to be the focus of the show, not like the other stuff. Like the other stuff is cool, like that's what we want to see. That's what gamers get excited about, these world premieres. But at the same time, it's like I was looking forward to some of these categories, and they're just like snap, 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 snap. No one even got up on the stage. And I know they kind of changed that with the sports thing with Xbox and Forza. Maybe it's because that's the only award that Xbox won, and maybe they were kind of throwing them a bone there, but I kind of had an issue with that. But other than that, I think that they're trying to step their game up. They got the Russo brothers there, doing their thing, because where Avengers is at, and the pop there, and the trailer came out after that. They had movie stars there. They had people from Hollywood. It's in LA. Like the pop is there for gaming, and gaming is getting to the point revenue wise where it's going to surpass other avenues of entertainment. So this just shows with the amount of viewership where gaming is, and that's exactly the reason why companies like Xbox and Google and some other companies are focusing on gaming, because they see where this is tracking, if that makes sense. So.
Check this out. Check this out. I'm going to say the things that everybody is thinking, but nobody's saying right now. When it comes to the award show, nobody gives two shits about the awards, really. Let's be honest. We went there to see the game trailers, any new announcements, anything like that. At least for me, I was never kind of like an awards person. Like, I remember back in the day, MTV used to have their music awards and all that good stuff. I watched it for the performances. I never really cared about the awards. But with that being said, just exactly what Mooch said. The pacing was really good. The entire show was way too long, in my opinion. I felt really like we were doing a live reaction. I'm like, the pacing of the show was really good, telling everybody there, K Mega, Snaps, all them. And like after a while, I felt kind of guilty for saying that, because I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, well, when the hell is it going to end?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're off and you're on a roll, and all the pacing's really good, and then you decide it's going to be a 3.5 hour freaking phenomenon, and I was just like, that was too long.
One of the things that kind of irked me about it is that they did the whole Lifetime Achievement Award thing the past couple of years for Hideo Kojima, and I thought, listen, whether you like him or not, the jokes aside, fine. But if you're going to do that, and that's going to be part of the show, wouldn't it have been great to bring up some of the greats from the old Sega or the original Nintendo days and honor somebody else that was in the video game business for such a long time, like a Lifetime Achievement Award? There's a lot of people that are, like Seamus Blackley, like bring him up there and be like, he was one of the, he's the reason Xbox is Xbox. I feel like I'm the godfather of Xbox. I mean, realistically, like that was something I thought that was a real sentimental value and could have brought a little bit more depth to the show instead of having 75, orchestra moments. I thought that would have been nice, and they dropped the ball on that.
What was the award that that gentleman got? That he was like super tall, and then they were showing a lot of the games that he worked on back in the day.
He had his belt in his throat.
Well, I thought that was kind of like a homage to like what he's been working on forever, but I don't remember what that award was for. And they did show a lot of the old school games that he worked on in the past.
Who was this? I might have missed that part. That
was probably somewhere in the beginning. He was super tall, dude, with like a maroon suit, I believe.
Wow,
I can't recall, but I know that they did point that out. That might have been for something else. I don't remember anybody saying that was a Lifetime Achievement Award. But anyway, overall, the show was like you guys said a million times. It was super long. I do think they need another host as well, but they did find their niche. They know how to grab us now, so we could watch. So if they say we got announcements left and right, then we're gonna be there. Yeah. Now they know how to grab us.
Down with Keeley? You don't want Keeley? Like he
hell no.
All right.
I don't. I mean, look, respect to the dude because, he made it happen, and that's fine if he hosts with someone else. But I don't just want to see his face over and over and over.
He did seem like a lot of Keeley.
Yeah,
he's sort of twitchy too. Like, you know what I mean?
Awkward.
Like, yeah, he is. He's a little bit awkward with his hosting duties, and and I think it would be nice to get somebody else.
Yeah, get a comedian. Maybe get a lady host with him or something. Maybe a streamer. I don't know.
Mooch, what's Julia Hardy and who's that other dude you like a lot for Xbox? Damn, what's his name? He always has no, the other one.
Oh, Jeff Rubenstein.
Jeff Rubenstein.
They're probably some sort of protest.
You get both of them up there, and I think you got yourself a winning recipe.
Let me tell you something. I would take Jeff Keighley all day over those two.
Yeah, I agree.
Listen, Jeff is the heart and soul behind. Listen, guys. Whenever you have your favorite movie or your favorite show or your favorite awards show, there's so many people behind the scenes, behind the curtain that you see only in the credits. Jeff does so much work. He should deserve all the credit. I just think it would be better, like Aisha Tyler, not just anybody, because remember they brought Joel McHale on years ago and it was a catastrophe.
Yeah.
So you can't just bring a comedian on because comedians are funny. If a comedian doesn't play game, like why not have Ice-T come on? Ice-T's big in the gaming community.
Snoop Dogg would be funny.
Right? Have him. No, I'm not saying he has to host, but he should come out and do a couple of the awards. Then have Aisha Tyler come out and do a couple of awards. She's represented EA at conferences.
No, she was Ubisoft, right?
Ubisoft for years.
And then you've got Sony Renee. Andrea Renee.
Yeah.
She can come out and do a couple of awards or something like that. Have these personalities and things come out and kind of play off of each other with some of the comical jokes. They do it at all the awards, Academy Awards, Oscars, etc. Like that's what makes it go from like just a just a bland award show, like, and here's your winner, and then just, like clapping. Yeah. And then it's immediately back to Jeff Keighley again, being like, well, gaming's come a long way. All right. Thank you, Professor Keighley. You know what I mean? It's like, can we please get to something a little bit more entertaining? And all that was really entertaining were the world premieres, half of them. The other half were like, and now the snail troll through the hills. Let's watch it, folks.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to watch that. But nonetheless, there was nothing really that kept things riveting. But nonetheless, coming from if you've watched this thing for the past 5-6 years, it's been a tremendous push in the right direction. So I'll give them that.
I got to say, I love what they did to show the CGI trailer for Mortal Kombat, though. When they had Ed Boon come out, and then he was acting like he was giving an award.
That was awesome.
And then all of a sudden, a lightning strike behind him, and they went right into the trailer. that was freaking cool. They needed more moments like that, man, to be really honest.
Hey, what about Mortal Kombat trying to like get more and more gory? Like, isn't there a point where it gets almost like too extreme? I know this is weird to say, but like I'm all about gore and stuff like that. But like, how far can you push it? I mean, you're breaking people's fingers and their bones are sticking out like live action. I was like, that's kind of cringy to me. But
you know what, Salt? Combat, man. Salt. Well, no, listen, Salt makes a point actually, but the only thing is, Salt. And look, the game could be as gory as you're picturing it, but this year I thought was less gory because usually you saw the spine break and then the skull fracture and come off the body, right? This time it was just a punch, like the face got disheveled and like blood came out. Yeah. That's the 2018 version of what we grew up with, Salt. You know what I mean? So I was actually I like the direction they took it back in.
You remember my boy Ermac's fatalities from Mortal Kombat X, right? Like they don't get any more brutal than that, man. Just pulling everything out, like no,
stop.
Yeah, for some reason I got to tell you, and you guys, you know this. I've said this just 2-3 weeks ago. I'm really out of the fighting genre, so I'm not going to sit there and promote it. But this might be the first Mortal Kombat that I'm going to go back and I might play this new game that comes out. This game looks like it's got a lot of fun to it.
Oh hell yeah! Mooch's going to beat up his controller. Hell yeah!
Well, I got one perfectly set up. I can actually eat a sandwich and use my feet at the same time. Foxy, I'm very talented. I might put it on YouTube. We'll see what happens.
Hey Mooch, I got a friend. When you do get into the game, I got a friend you might want to play with. He goes by the name Dazarus. And
no.
UK's got to do another. He's got to do another tournament. That was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it was, man.
Yeah. Somebody did one, and me and Mooch played, and I tired myself out. And I tired myself out in the first match.
Well, I can't blame you.
Yeah, like you could, like Mooch was right. Like I guess I don't know. I hadn't neither one of us had played a damn Mortal Kombat game in forever, and so earlier that day I played a little bit just to get maybe a hang of it.
Tired yourself out.
Yeah, that first round that I had with Mooch, man, you could just hear the buttons mashing, and then next thing you know, I was exhausted, man. I had worn myself out. And Mooch kicked my ass the next like 7 rounds, man. It was embarrassing, but yeah, exactly, Mooch.
Oh no,
that's what it sounds like, and I was just like, holy crap. But I mean, this one does look good. I don't know. Like, I am happy that we're getting this kind of resurgence of fighting games because I think they're cool. But at the same time, I'm not really that much into them. I like Killer Instinct a lot, but I just wasn't really big into, like, I don't know. Those are easier to string together combos and stuff. Whereas, like, I did kind of grow up with Mortal Kombat a little bit more, and I think that's cool. But I don't know.
I'm a big Dead or Alive fan. That is my favorite fighting franchise. Is
Dead or Alive? I wonder why.
It's not the most pop. What? No, it's because of the physics. It's because of the
okay. I mean,
actual fighting style. You can say what you want. Oh, Snaps has said the same thing to me. Oh yeah, why is DOA your favorite fighting game? I wonder why. And
the move physics, baby.
Realistic jiggles and everything.
Don't worry. By the time we get 2 more years into that game, Xbox will all be wearing coats.
Oh,
it'll be fine. It'll be all right.
Oh, shots fired. Fired. But I agree 100%. I think that's probably on the way. To be honest with you.
Yeah, it should be next year.
Yeah, next year.
Why wait?
Hey, next year we're not going to be able to sing. We're not going to be able to watch Frosty the Snowman.
Nope.
We're not going to be able to sing "Baby It's Cold Outside."
Nope.
We're not going to be able to do any damn thing. We're not going to be able to play any games with boob physics. Like, come on, man. Let's like look at ourselves and say, hey, man. At some point, we might have come off the rails a little bit. Now enough with that nonsense, right? We can get back into some gaming, but a little sidebar there. Yes, let us live. Won't you let us live? What do you think about this? God of War versus Red Dead 2 for Game of the Year. A lot of people were talking about this. I found it to be pretty interesting. I don't disagree with it. I preferred Red Dead 2 a bit. For me personally, I gave both are 10 out of 10s. I gave God of War 10 out of 10 as well. I just for me that Red Dead 2, especially that ending, was just phenomenal. And then the second ending was just another step up. But a lot of people not happy. I got a lot of messages from people like, oh man, Jeff Keighley, man, he's paid off. Like, here's how they do that. I think it's something like 10% of the people like us, our votes go towards that award. And then they have a panel of 80 different writers and people, different people from the media.
Gaming media?
Yes, gaming media.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I like God of War a lot. And Mooch thought he liked it more than Red. He hasn't beat Red Dead yet, but for me personally, I just think that it deserved the win, man. It was an underdog story, and I mentioned this a couple times as well. That studio, Sony Santa Monica, at the beginning of this generation, almost closed down. They had their brand new IP canceled. Half that studio was laid off. They were reduced to helping with a game called Ho Hokum, which was like this indie game, and they also helped with the Order 1886. So realistically, you could say that the success of God of War and that risk right there paid off, because now that studio is like the darlings of everything. So I really like the whole underdog story and stuff like that. Does Rockstar really need another game of the year? I don't think so. Mooch, what did you think?
No, I mean, to be honest with you, it's a tale of two games here, and this conversation hits everybody differently. Yeah, I'm only on chapter 4, so that's again, you do kind of have to have an asterisk there and say, well, Mooch, maybe your vote doesn't entirely count because you haven't finished it, but even if it's a jaw-dropping ending to the story, I've played enough of the game now where I know what the game is as far as the mechanics, this and that. I think that's kind of what it speaks to. I was reading a lot of articles on this, and I truly do believe that the reason God of War won, besides the stuff you read on Twitter, is I think the game mechanics. And crap, we joked about it for the better part of a year, but the joke actually ended up being what I think gave them and made them the victor. It was that throwable axe, that amazing, right? That gameplay.
You're not wrong, though.
It was
something completely new.
The first time I ever threw it, and then I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute! It sticks in the tree." And I saw it, but seeing it, and then playing it was completely different, and it never lost its lore. And I remember there was a certain point in God of War where you can get the traditional knife chains, right? You can get those.
I gotta say that's kind of like a spoiler, right? Like I usually am the one that spoiled that kind of crap. And to be honest with you guys,
in March or May or April,
dude, I got in trouble for spoiling something that was 8 years old or something.
You spoiled something the last week. It came out like 2 weeks ago.
Nothing wrong with that, man. I am tired of people like no spoilers. Yeah, it's been how many months?
Look, I think the threshold is three months. I mean, we're past 6 months here. My thing is this. So, anyways,
he says Blades of Chaos. That's what he
Blades of Chaos. Thank you. So Noof is right. So you get your Blades. That's how much I didn't even use them. I got them, and I was like, I'm like, the hell with this.
Well, here's
get
the
your
thing,
Blades of Chaos. Get your peanuts. I was like, get the hell out of here.
So for me, when you got that, as a longtime fan of that series, that was like a holy shit moment, right? Yeah. Now, sort of, I had multiple moments of those with Red Dead 2, right? Like at the end, and then at the second ending as well. But yeah, that was like the first, like, holy shit, you know what I mean? It was awesome. Yeah. But so you realistically, did you think that God of War was going to win? Because see, I was like, nope. For me personally, I was like, no way, man. To be honest with you, always wins.
Great question, and there you go. You kind of stole my answer. My vote, if I was in the booth, I would have voted for God of War. But I will say this much: I thought Red Dead Redemption was going to win. I was shocked because like you said, Rockstar. They're the man. We always say Sony's the sweetheart of the gaming media. Rockstar is really the sweetheart. They get anything they want. So realistically, I don't know. I was a little shocked by that, which kind of that's what made the win that much more, right? I mean, think about it. I was like, wow, you beat Rockstar. So that was what kind of made it a big deal. But ultimately, I still think, gameplay, the mechanics, the story, the new action that we haven't had in a game that I can think of in that axe and the way that it functioned. And then the like I say, I don't know, the whole package was really fantastic with God of War. It was a hard game to beat.
I think anybody can get into God of War. I think with Red Dead, it's a little bit niche because of the Western and everything like that, and it is a bit slow when you're getting started. So if you're not even used to that, it could throw some people off. And then they'll push through it. But I think God of War, it was no brainer. It had me in the first boss. I mean, even that alone was amazing. So
great point, Fox.
Yeah, I like that God of War got it because everybody loved Red Dead so much and knew that it was great. Actually, God of War has come a long way and made a bigger difference.
Quick analogy? Can I just make a quick analogy?
Yeah.
That Foxy said that made a lot of sense. Listen, we all know this, and I'm biased, but you guys all know this too. Like movies like The Godfather, okay, are all deemed classics, right? Amazing. When you see someone and they go, "You haven't seen The Godfather?" Like, right? But there's a lot of people. Okay, I'm not just saying young. I'm saying young and old that are like, kind of a slow start, not my thing. Didn't feel like getting into all the characters in the story. And you're like, what? Are you nuts? The movie's amazing. My point being is that a lot of people may feel when it comes down to actually, not that they didn't enjoy Red Dead, they did. But to say that it's game of the year, God of War starts out like a Die Hard movie, okay?
Yeah.
It's just nonstop action the minute you pick up the controller. Where when you start with Red Dead, it's more like Godfather, okay? Where you kind of got to learn who Michael is and learn why Sonny's got an anger problem. And you got to learn why this guy likes cannolis.
No,
like,
but
the problem is that
you haven't finished the story. It's like you're doing the build up, and
I agree.
You don't have the end. The end is the best part, like.
But does the end of that story,
it
Salty, trump the gameplay? When ultimately we're talking about games.
The gameplay is good.
I don't think the gameplay in Red Dead trumps God of War.
Here's the deal. I had this argument with.
You can jump in Red Dead though.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's poor.
Titan Drago was trying to like say that God of War didn't deserve it because of it didn't have multiplayer, which didn't make sense. So I kind of corrected him on that, and I said, this is all subjective. Like you talk about God of War, you talk about how fast paced it is. The story caught you immediately.
Right.
I mean, if you have ADD, that's perfect, right? I mean,
yes,
it's perfect. It's for you. There's a lot of people out there that want instant gratification in this day and age. That's fine. But the thing is like we all have preference, right? And that's why these award shows don't make any sense on any level, because I could like God of War. You could hate it. You could love Red Dead Redemption. Another person could hate it. I've heard it from everybody, right? So then you have the Game of the Year nominations. Like, who gives a shit, right?
Correct.
It's a bragging thing, right?
Yep.
It's a way to bring people together because, like, just like Xbot said, he's like, we just want to see those trailers, and that's why they put more of them in there, right?
Definitely.
It's like they can't have a trailer show. You know what I'm saying? Let's get together for this trailer show.
Would it work well? A trailer show?
Salt, I love your pitch there, but realistically, we as human beings are built on that. You have people that are in the Olympics. This guy beat this guy by 0.01 seconds. He gets gold. He gets silver. These are two of the most respected people in their countries, right? That's what we do. So realistically, the fact that one wins, yes, it is bragging rights, but the guy that wins in the Olympics by 0.01 seconds still gets the gold.
So I don't know why people are saying that Red Dead was just this phenomenal, like huge favorite over God of War. Because I heard people in the media saying that God of War is my choice. God of War is my choice. This and this and this. And I was hearing it from, Layman Gaming and all these other people talking about Red Dead. Like Rockstar got beat a while back too for Game of the Year. By Sony, I believe, back in the day. They got beat out for GTA, I think was up for Game of the Year nod.
GTA beat Last of Us 1.
Okay, so they go back and forth, right? But here's the deal. I think that the thing with, like, if you're in the media, right, more than likely you've owned a PlayStation in your lifetime. I think a majority of gamers have had a PlayStation at a certain point in their lifetime. And then you look at the player base with the PlayStation 4, it's the darling of this generation. You talk about this and that, right?
Oh, my bad. I was going to say, because you were talking about like where all that like hype came that, Red Dead was supposed to run away with it. I think there's a couple spots here. First off, Red Dead came out a lot closer to today. You know what I'm saying? It was a newer thing, so more people got their hands on it, like as a newer game, as the Game Awards were coming around. So you had that hype rolling with it. And then you got, let's be real, a lot of people who only have Xbox who picked up that game would say that game is Game of the Year. They didn't play the other one, but they knew about the Red Dead experience as well. So that was another part of the hype that was rolling, man. I
think that something that goes against Red Dead, which is a disadvantage, is when it came out. So God of War came out months and months ago, right? It had its time to be able to get in the hands of the gamers. Gamers finished it, experienced it. It wasn't as long as Red Dead. Red Dead comes out way closer towards the award show, and it takes a long time. It's a slow burn, right? It takes time to get into that game. Yeah. And like I said, the best parts of that game are at the end of the game, and that's like 70 hours in. That's a lot of investment. So I think a lot of people undersold this game. It's not by no fault of anybody else, but hey, if you don't get to the end, the best part, I mean, the meat and potatoes, you eat the salad, you eat some soup at a restaurant, and you say, man, that meal sucked, but you didn't finish it. You didn't get to the T-bone. You didn't get to the dessert. Then you say, hey, God of War deserves it. It's so subjective. It's crazy, so. Yeah,
you're not wrong. I got to say, because I suffered with the first couple hours. I wouldn't say suffered. It was a good game, but I was very much like Mooch, right? Like, way too much to do. It seemed like it was slow in getting money to upgrade your things. Arthur, we need your help. You got to help this guy. You got to, Arthur, you believe in me, right, Arthur?
Do me a favor. I'm shooting these cannons off the side of a bridge.
Kirby lost his hat like 16 times.
I lost my hat.
Listen, I'm in I just started chapter 4. I've done a mission or two in chapter 4. I'm just under 40 hours in the game. I just checked on my app.
Yeah, you'll have to get you got about 30 some more hours left.
Yeah, 5 and 6 are the best chapters, plus you have the epilogue. So those are like, some part of the epilogue is not exciting, but like all those parts, just it wraps it all up.
Too damn long, man.
Yeah.
Hey, let me pay some bills, Sir X-Man. If Tomb Raider hadn't been there, could have been a different story. I'm not sure what context that is because I saved that from earlier. And I don't remember what we were talking about, but I appreciate that, bro. Appreciate it. Hey, everybody hit that like button. I would appreciate that as well. Yeah, Mooch, you got to get in there. Start doing some of those missions. Stick to the yellow missions. Avoid.
That's what I've been doing.
Exactly.
That's what I did towards the minute we had this conversation. Middle of the 3rd chapter. I've only been doing that. I did sneak one of the what do they call it? The little clouds there with the question marks. I did a few of those, and then when I got to the city, I did the question marks in the city. But the thing is though, I don't think that's necessarily the right thing to do. I have a hard time passing the side missions because the side missions in Red Dead add to the character development. They add to Arthur.
Thank you, Mooch. I am so glad you said that, because unlike the first 3 chapters, you got the gunslinger missions. If you just strictly stay to the other ones, you don't get that mission where you save a kid from a cult and stop him from committing suicide. There's so many cool little side stories that are going on in that game. I don't understand why people are like, well, man, I just
here's
so worn out in first 3 chapters. Like,
here's the deal. Like, I told Titan Draga we had this conversation. He stopped Red Dead to play Odyssey, and he's like, I don't know if I'm going to go back. Odyssey's so fast paced, I can't get back into Red Dead. And he stopped at like chapter 3. I said, look, Drago, you need to focus on that main story, and you power through it. He got through it, and he found out exactly what I was talking about, because this game is so in depth and so immersive that 70 hours for a story is a lot, man. I mean, we're taking it to like crazy levels, like where anybody would just get distracted. So if you're doing side missions, more than likely like 40-50 hours in, you're just gonna be like, I'm tired of this. I need to go do certain other things, because you're not progressing the story. And that's what the problem is. I've heard so many people stop Red Dead Redemption 2 because they try to do those side missions 40 hours in, they go play something else,
Yeah, you'll get sidetracked, and then I think like that can like end up hurting your experience.
I don't think Mooch can help it, man. He was collecting backpacks in Spidey.
You know what? I got to ask you.
How can you collect backpacks in Spider-Man?
Dude, I just got another silver trophy for doing all the I do everything in fucking Spider-Man. I don't give a shit. If there's something to do, I do it. But literally,
props to you.
And Mooch was to swing to the left, swing to the right.
Listen, I'm still telling you.
I know, and Xbox was the one that was hyping up the game. I'm so confused.
Here's the game.
This dude flip-flop back and forth. He was like, Spider-Man, it's going to be the best. He hated cowboys. He was like, he goes, Red Dead 2. I don't like cowboys because my grandma made me dress up as a cowboy and wear a diaper. I don't know.
Man, TV
shows. Sorry. TV shows, exactly.
Here's the thing. I've been looking for a long time for an action game that's a pick up the controller, play it for a little while, and put it down. And okay, so Red Dead, as we all just said, this is just going with everybody in the panel story, including my own. Red Dead's just not that game. Like, you pick up the game, and like, even if you just pick up Hosea and you're on the way to a mission, like Hosea's like, Arthur, I don't know why. Arthur, I don't know why we're going out to see this. I have no idea, Arthur.
Hosea, shut up. Hosea? We're gonna listen to what he says.
John's full of shit.
John Marston is
full of shit. And you got to listen to that shit all the way there and then all the way back. And that's fine. That's the way the game's designed. That's fine. But it's not a game you can just pick up and put down. My point being is Spider-Man is you pick it up. I played 2 or 3 missions last night. You put it down, done. Like, it's literally, I think Spider-Man is the action game version of Call of Duty, Blackout, or like playing a Forza race, because it's that easy to pick it up, put it down. And
you're comparing Spider-Man to Call of Duty? No wonder why I didn't like the game.
No, I'm saying if you pick it up, play the game, put it down. I can do that. Like, let's be honest. You guys know this. I say it all the time on the air. Between 10 o'clock and 11:30 during the week, that's all I get to play. That's really all I get to play. So for me, for Red Dead, that's a mission, maybe a side mission, and eating some stew. Okay, that's all you can really do in about an hour, and it doesn't progress you far enough. I like to play Red Dead when I've got a good, solid 3-4 hour chunk, and that's really, for me, this is a me problem. It's not a you problem. This is a me problem. I can't do that unless it's Saturday or Sunday, and then that's some Saturdays or Sunday. So for me, Red Dead is going to be a slow burn. It's going to take me a lot more time to do that. And yeah, Sir X-Man, who says Battlefield 5 action game, Mooch. Battlefield 5, Call of Duty, Spider-Man, games like that, Forza 4, Forza Fever. Those are games I pick up, I play, I put it down. You know, and that's, I think there's a lot of gamers like that.
I got Forza.
I got Forza Fever. Yeah, but I mean, like, that's realistically, I think what a lot of gamers
There's no cure for that, by the way.
You know, it's funny because a lot of people we talk to in the YouTube community, you know, like they're playing games a lot more often. They're making videos a lot more often. They have more time. For a lot of people that are working all day and they get home, like Monday through Thursday I should say Sunday through Thursday, sometimes you're only allotted an hour and a half at best. So the games like Red Dead, the games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I think that's hard for some of those individuals.
Yeah. You know? I think that, so it's more towards the casual, right? Like the God of War situation, because they can plug in there. I'm not calling you play. Casual.
No, not at all. No, listen, I put in, I love filling out that survey. You know what I mean? I usually get 3-4 hours on Saturday. I get 3-4 hours on Sunday and about an hour and a half during the week. And that's life. That's not me making that. A casual will choose to do, 2 hours a week, 4 hours a week. I do what I can because I enjoy it. It's one of my favorite hobby to do. But I mean, at the same time, it's like that's just life throws that curveball.
So AC Odyssey, I'm seeing a lot of people saying that it got snubbed. It should have been Game of the Year. Do you think these open world games aren't getting as much love because of how long they are? I mean, Assassin's Creed Odyssey,
question, Salt.
It takes so long to get through it. I think that's hurting these games, honestly. So,
well, you know what's funny? Assassin's Creed Origins had that same problem, right? Because what happens? They've changed it so much from Assassin's Creed, and whether you like that or not, I don't know. I liked it in this old Assassin's Creed. You sneak up something from someone and you can assassinate them, right? Now you go up and you do that, and it takes a little tiny bit of health, and they start slapping you around. Like, to me, that's not really Assassin's Creed. I think those games look gorgeous. Yes. They're good RPGs, but they are definitely not my not my Assassin's Creed.
Crap.
Yeah.
So I put a poll up on Twitter. I said, do you think that they should change the name of Assassin's Creed for that specific reason?
Yes.
Because they changed the whole game. I mean, the game was one thing and now it's completely another. I mean, RPG, exactly what you're saying. Like, the first game was built on sneaking, stabbing, the guy's dead, but now you try to stab him, he's kind of hurt. You're doing some The Witcher, like Witcher fighting and this and that. It's like, it's a totally different game. So I got a lot of blowback from the community. No, we can't change the name. It's like, well, it doesn't really feel like Assassin's Creed to me anymore, but
no, yeah, dude, that's something I have been saying, for a while, especially with Origins and everything like that. I miss the old Assassin's Creed where it was all built around stealth and getting in and getting out without being seen, hitting your target and everything like that. And Salty, man, a lot of respect that you see the same thing I see, dude.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Salt. No, go ahead, man.
No, I honestly don't think it would hurt the franchise to split it. You know what I'm saying? Like, continue down this direction with this franchise, maybe call it something a little bit different, and then go back to the roots the way that the Assassin's Creed franchise was. It's not that people didn't like that model. You know what I'm saying? It just was coming out too frequently. So what happens? You split it. You go this direction, the Odyssey route, maybe come out with a game every couple years, every 3 years. And then in between that, you put in imagine a pure Assassin's Creed game where you go back to like, hey, I'm sneaking up, I'm killing people, I'm doing this and that. I think that makes sense to me.
It is such a departure from the other games, which I loved and beat every single one of the other games.
I think the reason that you guys, and I don't know if you guys are making this a negative or not, but someone like myself who doesn't like Assassin's Creed, I feel guilty that I'm not playing Odyssey right now because Odyssey actually
shout out Robert
Olsen.
Amazing. He doesn't even say anything. He just drops $20, man. He's like, here you go, man. You rock, crap.
That's
you
Robert.
rock, everybody.
Nice,
Thanks, Robert,
awesome
man.
dude.
I think he's a mooch maniac too. So
he is a mooch maniac. Yes.
Is he? Well, he's a crapaholic,
He's a crapaholic
tonight.
in hiding. Apparently,
He's a crapaholic tonight, man. He's probably. he's
a
probably
crapaholic
not that
tonight.
out there because those crapaholics, they're out there. They're just very quiet about it.
They're
you know
like
what I
that Homer gif. They're always in that like those ferns. They're just hanging
they're
around.
in the bushes.
Yeah.
Hey, did Crap say something stupid? We can come out. Oh shit, Crap just said something stupid. Let's get back in there.
Go back to
You know
the
what I mean?
bushes. Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
exactly. So that's basically how it goes. You know what I mean? That's my life. You know what? I want to talk a little bit about Phil Spencer because this is a pretty big deal. What a lot of people are making this into a big deal. He said he wants Game Pass on all devices.
Oh, here we go.
You got everybody and their mother out there talking about, oh my God, it's going to be on PlayStation. It's going to be on Nintendo. It's going to be like, here's the thing. Who cares about those two things? To be honest with you, those are small potatoes to what he wants this on, right? Like, I just feel like probably whether we want it or not, it's scary. I get it. You know, these games, not just Microsoft is going to be the only ones to do this. They're all going to be mixed up in some of this cloud stuff. And, you know, Sony's already been there. They had their games on TVs and Blu-ray players and, you know, handheld and phones. Like Microsoft is just, I think, finding a better way to go about it. Things change. You know what I mean? Look, we can still enjoy our games. You know, we're still going to have hardware. We're still going to have Xbox. We're going to, you know, no matter what happens. I personally think that Microsoft, even if they want that on PlayStation, will never come to PlayStation just because Sony won't allow it. But you know what I mean? So the rest of that stuff, it's like, yeah, Windows, that went to Apple, that went there, that went everywhere. You know what I mean? Like Town Bicycle. But still, you know, I just think that Microsoft has an idea for this stuff. And they're going to go ahead with it, and people are just going to have to deal with it. But to just go, oh, well, it's definitely going to PlayStation or whatever, there's not really anything. He says devices. He didn't say consoles.
No, I don't think it's going to PlayStation. But let's take a step back here for a minute and look at what we're talking about. The reason that Microsoft has this blank check right now, given to the Xbox division, the reason Phil's sitting at the head table, the reason that these companies were acquired, the reason a lot of these new IPs, the reason that Scarlet's coming, the reason there's going to be a Scarlet Cloud. All of this was because Phil and company pitched the fact that Xbox will be available on multiple devices, phones, tablets, PC, smart TVs. Absolutely. Because Game Pass right now is not for a lot of hardcore people. So a lot of people that are listening to this show, they're like, Mooch, what are you talking about? Game Pass sucks. Fine. But realistically, it's for the casuals. It's for the people that play games on their TV. It's for the people that play games on their phone.
Now, Mooch, can you compare this to food in any way so people understand?
Not really. No, this one's tough. I don't know what kind of movie or what kind of food comes on every device.
I do want to say something on this real quick because I've seen something get completely out of hand on Twitter. People are like, oh, look at Microsoft, Xbox, they're becoming third-party developers and everything like that. Here's the deal, guys. When it comes to Game Pass, I really think they're talking about their streaming service, to be really honest with you. Like when you know, we're looking at 2020, I think we're going to hear a lot more about that. When it comes down to it, they are not building their games thinking about Sony's hardware as well. That's what I think it's going to be a streaming service type deal. All right. With that being said, third party has to think, you know, multiplex. They have to think about the hardware for all the consoles, everything like that. Microsoft is not doing that. They are not developing third party. They are first party Xbox titles that people are going to be able to play through a subscription service, which is Game Pass. And I think it's more going on the lines of the streaming thing. It is not third party, people.
Hey, if you look at where Microsoft started with Bill Gates, The reason why Xbox was created, he said that he wanted to get the windows in every living room and spread everywhere. Basically, it was the idea of having this, like, that's where this whole Xbox One situation comes from. That's the name. They wanted to connect everything with.
You mean it's not
Microsoft.
the first Xbox, because it is called the Xbox One? What the hell were they thinking, right? I mean, come on.
So if you look at it, this has always been the goal, right? For Microsoft, they want to be everywhere, right? So gaming is that avenue, right? Because Windows is kind of taking a back seat, right? Because their phones kind of failed, and my dog's barking. So
shut that dog up.
Windows is on the lower tier now with Google and Android and all that stuff. So then they look at the avenues of where they can put their brand and spread it the furthest out there, right? And that's gaming right now, and that's the mode. But like, even if it was the case where they put it on PlayStation, which they won't, or they put it on Nintendo, who cares, man? Honestly, like, we're still playing the games. I think that what this comes down to is just this narrow viewpoint of these boxes that we've had in our living rooms for years, right? And we're so stuck on that. But like, that's a limited way to think about gaming, because gaming right now is changing. It's going to the cloud and all this other stuff and services. And I know this will trigger a lot of people because, you know, everybody, they have their brand loyalties. But honestly, if I'm playing a game, I'm playing a game. You know, if I have this access to something, you know, it is what it is. So what I'm trying to say is, would I be triggered if they put it on PlayStation? I mean, I don't own stocks. Like, would I care if Nintendo Switch owners were able to play Halo on the Nintendo Switch 2? No, it doesn't affect me as long as I'm getting games.
They're technically not putting it on those devices, though. Like I said,
it would be the service, right? Like the Game Pass, only that those games are in there.
The service is available on those devices. It's not. They're not building it thinking about like the PlayStation hardware and this CPU bottleneck.
Well, I think we have to look at it from the other side of the coin, right? You guys are looking at it from the Xbox side. If you just asked Xbox, "Hey, would you guys like to be on the Switch or the PS4?" They're going to go, "Yep." But if you ask Sony and Nintendo, they're going to go, "No, get the hell out of here."
Yeah.
Like,
not right now, but maybe in the future.
Nintendo would be more open because they don't see Microsoft and Sony as their competitors. Microsoft is in this weird situation where they don't really see Sony as a competitor or Nintendo. I think the only company that really sees the other person as a competitor is Sony, that sees Microsoft and Nintendo as competitors, if that makes sense. So
I think it does make sense, Salt, but I think Nintendo also looks at them as competitors in the long scale, because realistically speaking, Nintendo is selling hardware, and hardware is a large chunk of what their profits are. That's why they make the games consoles that they make. They don't put the most powerful things in the world out there. They make a very, very large profit off of their hardware, where Microsoft and Sony don't off the bat.
Yeah, considering the Switch is $300 and
it's $300, but they're using like cell phone technology.
So the thing is, how I counter that ideology, why they don't care about Microsoft and what Sony's doing, is because they could care less. Like, the reason why they brought out the Switch, which is counterintuitive based off of power and the way these things go, even with the Wii U, that was a failure. They like to they go to the beat of their own drum. They don't care about other people. Like, the Switch was the idea of the Switch and how not powerful it is. People would see that and be like, man, this is a misstep. Like, imagine if Microsoft came out with some 720p or whatever, in this hybrid
system. It'd be the end of the world. Yeah, like, people would
right?
They would flip out, right? Look at this 720p thing. Exactly. Like, for me, right? Like, I like the Switch. I think it's okay. It's cool for what it is. But the fact that here we are in 2018, almost 2019, and that online is worse than Xbox Live when it originally launched in 2002. Right, that to me is a huge problem. The fact that they don't have a achievement system. I know not everybody cares about that, but that's a reason why probably a lot of people don't bother with some of that stuff. Right? Why would it be so hard for them to put some of that stuff on there? I don't get it. Why do you got to hook up a cell phone to run an app so you can talk to people? Like, what people do that I know that have a Switch, because nobody has a Switch and only a Switch. They go on Xbox Live Party Chat and use that to talk to their friends while playing the games.
Right. Listen, you guys are making great cases. I even like what Salty said. It's somewhat believable. You said that they're thinking so far out the box and this and that. Listen, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Okay, you want a food reference? They make a sandwich with 2 pieces of chicken as the bread. That's outside the box. But guess what? They still make
Hey, what the hell was that thing called? What was it? The something or other. I forgot.
Heart attack in a box.
It was a heart attack. But like my point is that like I think that. Again, if you're looking at it from the Microsoft side, they want it everywhere because anywhere they can put that little Xbox logo, you click on it and all their games pop up, they make money. But on the other side, you have to realize Nintendo does not want that little box on their console because then you're not clicking on their games. So I don't think that I
think Nintendo is more of a toy company than a console company. They have so much money that they don't really care. Like they could have a failure like the Wii U, right? Yeah. They can bounce back from it. Like typically, if you have a failure like that, you wouldn't go out and be like, we're going to do something more extreme. Like Nintendo just doesn't give two shits. They're going to do what they want to do. They have the Amiibos, what of those little toys are, their product line, the way that they handle their merchandise. That's what is super valuable for that company. And what furthers my point is the fact that they come out with Nintendo Labo or Labo or whatever the hell that was. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you mean cardboard boxes? Hey, let's sell cardboard boxes to people,
exactly.
right?
That's what company does that? Is that a console company or is that a toy company? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone, I can see Nintendo doing it first. But in the future, I mean, I would have never thought I see something about Apple in my Android store. When I do, I see the iTunes. And I was like, wait, what? You would never think that would happen. But sometimes they do cross over, even if it's just like one program. And yeah, and there's Google stuff or Windows stuff in the Apple store sometimes. So maybe later on, but not right now.
I think the direction that we're honestly going is it's going to be way in the future, but it's like Netflix is on one TV. You have, Hulu, you have this and that. You can choose from Amazon Prime. They're not confined within a hardware type situation. Like that's the thing that we're all thinking of right now. And when all three of those big dudes stood up on the stage, it was just kind of pointing me in a direction that they see that they know what's going on, man.
I like where you're going on part of it, Salt. As far as the direction of the future and putting aside the thought of hardware, I'm with you. But where I think you're being a little bit too easy on the situation is they are still, at the end of the day, those three companies have their own individual bank accounts and they have to look out for themselves. Okay, so if the three of us own restaurants on the same block, you know what we want, Salt? We all want a lot of people to come to our block. But at the end of the day, I want more people to come in my restaurant than yours. So that's the way you kind of got to look at it. Yes, you're right. Looking at it from the hardware standpoint, absolutely not. That's why devices was a key term in his terminology. And it wasn't just, he didn't say consoles because that would be too broad and too bold. Yeah. So realistically, the thing about it is that Microsoft would love, again, I'll say this, I'll agree with you on the other side of the coin. Microsoft would love to put the Xbox logo on Sony and Nintendo. But realistically, Nintendo and Sony, for them to occupy that space, because they know once you let Microsoft in there, look what Microsoft's doing. They're bored on a Sunday. They're just buying things. Yeah. I'm bored. I'm buying people.
Who's yelling?
Buying, right? Who's yelling? You know who's yelling?
You get a studio.
That's
you get a studio.
Wallet yelling, not me.
Yeah.
So realistically, he's like, I'll buy you and I'll buy. So my point being is that they can't compete. We've said this forever, right? None of these two companies, as much as they're doing fine, they both, if Nintendo and Sony link together, they cannot outbuy Microsoft. They just physically can't. They can't do it. So I think that's where I'm kind of coming from. But I do like your thought as far as the Xbox logo and Xbox Store being on everything else but those items.
Hey, let's get to 200 likes, huh? We're pretty close. Maybe you guys could work that out for us.
Maybe you guys can work all that out.
Maybe you guys can work that out for us.
Keep talking. You guys work on clicking.
Work on a food analogy for the people, Mooch. And then
I've already given you 4.
I know, but people want to hear something about steak or something.
Who's that hungry?
Steak. I don't. I like my food. Come on, let's go.
I'm hungry, to be honest with you.
I know, right?
Can I just say that, like, because Salty pointed it out when all three of them were on stage, it was so lackluster. I'm just gonna say that because I was expecting something more, and then I was just like, "Oh, okay, we're all just holding hands. Cool.
Sean Layden was like, "I better get that steak dinner from Keeley."
There you go.
There's your steak reference.
Why did Phil Spencer look like he wanted to kill someone? Like they had these pictures of him looking at Sean Layden, and I was like, "Holy shit, dude! Dude looks triggered or something."
Wait,
I think that's just Phil. Whenever Phil smiles, he squints. I don't know what it is. When he looked over and he was squinting, if you freeze frame it, it does look like all those captions you saw on Twitter.
That was funny.
Coming for you next gen.
But I didn't like his jacket, by the way. Quick fashion tip to you guys. Don't like that jacket that Phil was wearing. That was disappointing. But go on.
Oh, you don't like?
You guys see there was no T-shirt?
Nope.
There was no T-shirt reveal.
Yeah,
how dare you, Mooch? Did you tell him we were talking about the shirt?
I'm glad he smartened up. Enough of that.
Nah, I didn't like that. That was disappointing.
You didn't like the T-shirt?
No, we're all sitting here. We're like, is that a shoe from Fable on his shirt?
Yeah. Hey.
No. He should have just came out in a chicken suit. That's it.
That would have been great. Just like in Horizon 4 with the chicken suit, which 100% confirms Fable. I'm just saying.
Obviously.
It does. It's 100% confirmed. Fable 4 is coming. You're going to be kicking chickens and having a good time.
I'm looking forward to the Crap Gamer video where it's like, I called it. Play some games, Fable. By the way, audience, that's as sure as the ball landing down. Okay, in New York at 12 o'clock.
Hey,
Mooch, I guarantee you.
You were the one that was like, hey, I called Battlefield 5. That game's going to suck.
I only said it was going to do rough. Oh, you're just trying to get Foxy upset. Go ahead, Fox.
No,
I'm mad at you, Crappy. You haven't even gamed with me on there. No, don't talk to me.
Crappy, she just pulled a Superman 2 on you.
I know. Look, here's the thing. Me and Hellhammer played that game. I suck so bad at that game.
Yeah, because I wasn't there. I wasn't there reviving you. That's why.
Yeah, that's probably 6 miles out.
Well, here's the thing. That is a little bit of a problem for me, Mooch. I have no.
And for a lot of us,
the bullet damage in that game. Holy crap! You're down. Like in Call of Duty or any other game, you're like you got time to look all around. Like what the hell's that? In this game, you get dropped like a sack of potatoes. I was like, holy crap! I was going like 2 and 12. And that's not good. Yeah,
because I wasn't there. That's why.
Yeah, I do need a full team though, Fox. Like if I could get like you and Mooch and Salty, you play that game, right or no?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, now if we had a team,
Salty loves it.
Yeah, like where's
I wouldn't use the word love.
Yeah, I mean,
sarcastically, he loves
it.
Sarcastically, like Mooch is sarcastic PC, right?
Yes. Exactly. Actually, it's funny you say that. I want to ask Salt. So you got the gaming rig now. Like, isn't it funny? I've got a gaming rig. I'm not gaming on it.
Yeah.
Well, it's sarcastic.
Of course, I did the same thing. The snaps. I was like, yo, how come you're not playing on your PC? Now her whole thing is, she's got an Oculus Rift coming in the mail.
I saw that. I gotta be honest with you. I'm very interested. If Mel's listening or Xbox, if you can relay the message, I hope she does some gaming with it and she gives her opinion on it. Because that would be something that Crab's been trying to get me into VR and PSVR. Listen, maybe PSVR with PS5 is going to be something revolutionary.
Mooch, check this out. We're going to be really unique in this house because my oldest son, his grandmother spoils the absolute shit out of him, right? So he's getting an HTC Vive. So we're going to have the Vive.
Which one's better? I don't even know.
Hey, Dad, XBot, did you get that accessory that's a requirement? The Swiffer Duster attachment?
Hey, no crap. I know. I don't think you had it in your 75 list of topics, but let me tell you something. Mooch is going to try VR. I think this weekend. I believe on the 14th, Borderlands VR comes out.
Yeah, Borderlands VR and PSVR.
Mooch is going back to VR. I need to see a video. What's the deal with Borderlands?
What's the deal with that? And it's going to be me banging into the wall with my helmet on.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Dazzer just tweeted out a picture. He's watching us while eating. So, what the heck are you eating, dude? He's eating some spare rib. Look, man, those things. That's like a big plate of meat. You guys got to check that out. It's like, wow, holy crap.
Meat and beer. Good for him.
It is good for beer. It's beer.
Yeah.
I did a podcast with him once.
Yes.
And understood 0 words, but it was funny as hell. You know what I mean? No, he's
British boys.
Hold on,
is
that kebabs? Are those kebabs? He
says they're spare ribs.
Okay, just straight
ribs.
That is his food analogy.
No, you know what's great about that?
Mm-hmm,
That's the one thing. Like, you know, if you're gonna enjoy now, so the room I have the PC in, I have a dedicated room for this for the PC office. Like, I actually have room to be able to game with a headset on in here. Where my PlayStation is at, like, it's a family room. Like, you guys have a coffee table, couches, chairs. Like, there's nowhere to move. Like, and does it feel comfortable in that space? This is something I'm looking forward to. So I'm really interested what Mel says. Now, guys, I'm interested to know, is the Vive, is the HTC Vive better than the Oculus? Who the hell knows?
Okay, so the Vive is better.
All right.
So it's clear to like do the hot dog stand simulator thing. Like it's clear on Oculus.
Well, you know what, Saul, you can do it now. You have your sarcastic computer as well.
It's true.
We should all try this and see what the hell's going on.
Hey, I like that gift, Salty. Silence. Hey, what was funny was Mooch pointed out that Phil was completely like nervous. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he was up there. He's like, yeah, we're gonna, you know, it's great. And that leads into my next topic, because he does promise a better year for exclusive games for Xbox One owners next year. Do we believe him? I mean, it's obviously going to be better. Well, yeah, it's going to be obvious, because what did we get this year? We basically got
State of Decay 2.
This year we got State of Decay 2. We
got
Forza,
baby.
We got
Forza
Horizon.
Forza. Yeah, I mean, we
crap, pissing the vegetables. Everybody back to the camp. We got to set everything up again. All right, here we
you
go.
know, I do got to say a lot.
Ashen, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
damn, Salty, you made me want to play that game, but I'm not.
Here's she's like, I'm not though.
But I'm not though. I don't like Dark Souls
I've heard
games,
that a lot.
but a good fucking video.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a good video. It makes you want to play that shit.
You know what,
yeah.
I'm sure you're going in another direction, but you know, while we did talk about Ashen, I mean, here's my thing. So I'm gonna play Ashen, and I'm gonna enjoy it in Game Pass, but I've decided, because I've neglected it, and I don't know if Luca's still in the chat, but Luca will be happy to hear this. I'm gonna go from I'm going from Red Dead to, I'm gonna do Bloodborne first, then do Ashen, because I have not done Bloodborne. And I feel like I should do that one before I do Ashen, because I've watched it, and I'll say this, Salt, you said in your video that you're a Souls fan. Like, from what I've seen, and I've watched your video, I've watched a few people on YouTube that are playing it, and Mixer, it does look Souls light. Would you agree with that?
It is. I mean, it's a good. It's not as punishing per se. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be a good entry level. And I say this because in Dark Souls, you have to summon people. You know what I'm saying? You put the soapstone down, you summon people. You have to actively go do that. And a lot of times it's at the boss. It doesn't help you in between the bosses.
What's the deal with the AI?
What's the deal with the AI?
What is the deal? All right. So I guess they call it. See, I didn't even know what was going on with this whole AI situation, but I read this press release from the developers. This is called passive, I guess, companionship or whatever. You have other people playing the game, and you guys are in the same instance, like areas of the world. So you'll get loaded in as your NPC. Like, the person will get loaded in, and you can't tell if they're a AI person or a real person.
That's
you're experiencing the world. So you're going to have a companion at all times. You just don't know if they're AI, which you do know because they're dead. You know, they're brainless, right? They're dumb. You know what I'm saying? But then the human beings, they act dumb as well. So it's also it's comforting to have someone with you along the ride, because like Dark Souls, you can get revived once in Ashen. Like, if I go down, my NPC or the human being can revive me once, and then you can heal up and stuff. But if you go down again, you die. You go back to the ritual stone and you start all over. So I tried to do co-op with, who was it? It was Hyena Den, and I was way far into the game, and we try to do this like code thing where you put in a code and you disable the computer, and we couldn't get me to spawn, and I was like, dude, this shit's broken. But what they don't tell you is you have to be within one boss of each other. So if you beat a boss and your friend hasn't beaten that boss, you're not going to be able to play with them. So you need to be in the same area of the world and at the similar boss to be able to play with each other. So.
No, I appreciate that. That last part I didn't know. I knew the beginning part about it, where when you revive or you bring them in, you don't know if it's an AI or another human player. But I did not know the fact that you had to do that last part. I mean, listen, there's always going to be that element of I don't care for that, or like you just said, that seems to be like something like you said. If they didn't progress that far along, that they can't join you. But you know what? Realistically, that's something that's an us problem as gamers. Like if you're gonna play with, if I was to say Salt, do you want to play Ashen? And he goes, yeah. Well, then we should probably, if we're not gonna play the same game every night together moving forward, we should at least keep in contact and know how far we go through. That's it's a gamer's problem.
No, it totally makes sense because in this game, I'm sure they don't have it so where it could balance it out when you spawn in, since it's just it's an instance thing. So if I'm like at the last boss and I'm helping you with these enemies that are super weak, I'll just one-shot everything, right? And it will destroy your experience because I can like literally one-shot the first boss. Yep. I'm killing everything and you're not doing anything. It's just, it would wreck your experience.
That's what ruined the Division. Okay. Exactly that right there. Right. You had your friends who were playing round the clock.
Hell of a week.
And then you have your friends that are playing round the clock and they were level 30 and you were level 13. You're like, oh, worry about it. Mooch is hanging out behind that car. I'm like, wait a minute,
that's how I beat that game, Mooch. My buddy Snipes was like, hey, Nubs, just hide around there. I'll take care of this guy. And we were like, just
you're playing way too much Red Dead, by the way. You just sounded like one of the guys that don't worry, Arthur.
Well, no, that's how my buddy Snipes.
On fire.
That's how Snipes talks. He's like, hey, Nubs. He calls everybody Nubs. I don't know why.
Thanks for that insight.
Yeah, it's just like, he's like, hey, Nubs, just go do that. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Dude, that's the dude. Okay, so it's funny because I've known this dude since like 2007. Man, we met playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the PS2, and he was in my clan and stuff. And I known him since he was like a teenager. Right now, he's like got a kid of his own and stuff like that. But he always is that one that talks so much shit about how great he is at games, and then when you play with him, he's the first one to get slapped. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, like I played. He was like, I'm the best at Fortnite. We'll win every time we play. He died first, like every single time. The one time we almost won, he's like, and I had not even played this game up to this point, right? He's like, and then he goes, let's go get these guys. It was like us. It was our team was left, and then like two other people. And so he throws together some kind of trampoline, and he's like, let's jump over there. So we jump over there, and we died right away. Right? I was like, yeah, good job, man, good job.
Dude, I am picturing as you're saying that, I'm picturing that whole scenario, dude. Hilarious.
Well, I get a little bit competitive. You know what I mean? I can remember
just
one
a little
time.
Bit, huh?
Yeah, a little
I remember
bit.
Gears.
Yeah, like in Gears, I get real competitive.
How come you didn't get competitive in Halo, though, man?
Like, Halo, I know my role.
No, wait. No, there was a couple times we played against each other in Halo, and he was like, yeah, Foxy, get slapped. And I was like, really? Oh, okay, I'm coming after you now.
There might have been a sandwich remark or something, too. I don't know.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, you know, well, here's the thing. Even when I played soccer cards, we played again. It was like me, my buddy Grave, and Hellheimer versus Mooch. I don't know, two of his friends, right? I was so pissed at my buddy Grave because he kept getting drunker and drunker and worse at the game. And then after Mooch left, man, I yelled at him, man, and I felt bad later. But still, it was like, you know, that inner thing because I ran a gaming clan and I always had to be that guy. Like when you run that kind of stuff, it's like you got to do your practices and you got to have people and everybody's got to be on the same page and listen. And that's still like I forget that's not me anymore, and that's not like the team. Like we're just chilled out.
I still feel bad for Iceman. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I told him that I was gonna. Never mind, because we won't talk about that because
yes, you're gonna get demonetized.
Hey, Dad says there's a lot of bones in these ribs. Hey man, I get it, man. I get it. That's funny. Oh. Hey, Instant Kill. He says the Xbox fanboys drinking the cult juice. This is what happens when Sony games win Game of the Year. It fries Xbox fanboys' brain cells. We all said that God of War deserved the win, bro. I gave it a 10.
Hasn't it? I
gave it a 10 out of 10.
He just came in here to say that, and that's it.
We try to stay away from all that, but like not for anything.
Doesn't even make sense.
Out on Twitter, everybody's like running rampant with the whole like. I get that God of War. If you really like the game, and you said that you wanted it to be Game of the Year, I am happy for you. But that doesn't mean people who are playing on a different platform are staying up at night with cold sweats and stuff, thinking, well, why couldn't the multi-plat Red Dead Redemption 2 win? I don't know anybody like that, and it's just weird to see.
Is that Xbox phone again?
Xbox phone, I guarantee it.
I thought I drowned it out then. I thought I drowned it out.
You guys hear that?
Never.
That was great.
Yeah, that's the second time I heard it.
Forget that in my podcast. That was great.
Wow.
But dude, it's not
Superman.
And it goes Superman at the end. But yeah, it's not keeping anybody up at night. Of course, there's going to be some like crazy people out there that will be thinking along that line. But just because gamers who prefer Xbox are out there doesn't mean that everybody's like, crying in their Cheerios right now over God of War winning Game of the Year. I just don't understand that whatsoever.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, I like God of War. I thought it was, it was really a toss-up. You knew one of those two was going to win. I liked Red Dead Redemption 2 as a game. Yeah, I liked it a little bit better, but I mean, it kind of is what it is. I do want to talk about this a little bit. So it looks like this kind of annoyed me, right? So Mooch, I know this might annoy you too. Maybe you'll get some yelling in.
Yeah.
So Phil always says, I don't really like time content. I don't like to keep
I saw
stuff
your
off
video
of,
on this. Yeah.
I don't like to keep stuff off of other platforms. I'm not about that life, folks.
No.
I'm not about it.
No.
I'm sure I sound just like Phil right there. But so he doesn't believe in keeping stuff off other platforms in terms of content timed, but he's okay with the Devil May Cry demo.
Yeah.
Exclusive to Xbox. And it even says exclusive demo on the damn thing. Like, what's the difference between these two things, and why is he okay with one and not the other?
Crap, we spend a lot of time sitting here saying that Phil may be the savior of Xbox, and he came up to Satya Nadella. He mentioned games as a service. He's going to put Xbox everywhere. That's why the money came here. That's fine. But the one thing we have to understand is that Phil did make a couple of mistakes early on, and that is the neglecting of exclusive content. He's seen that. He's seen the era of his waves. He knows he made some mistakes. I think you see with not just the Devil May Cry 5, I think next year you'll see some exclusive deals with some companies that are A-listers. I really do think that he sees that marketing was neglected. I really think 2019, 2020 is going to be a big change. And what's going to happen is, of course, Phil's going to make these changes, and everybody's going to be like, "Oh, the Phil, he's just great. It's great. Phil did everything great." And everyone's not going to pay attention to the past. And that's fine. That happens more often than not. But Phil made some crucial mistakes when he first came in with the whole, gamers love games, games loves gamers. And he's holding hands. Yeah, he kumbaya'd for the first 2 years. And now you can see he's doing a little less of that. He's doing less of it online. He's doing less of it on Twitter. And now you're seeing deals being struck in. He's doing things with Japanese game developers. He's doing things like this with Devil May Cry. He's going to be doing certain things with games similar to what they used to have with Call of Duty with other games. And you were right to make that video. Phil's seen he's seen the error of his ways. He's seen the mistakes that he made early on. And I think that you have to realize that whether it be, even if your games is a service and your games are everywhere, your games still belong to you. And when you're going to sell a piece of hardware, which don't get me wrong, they're definitely in the software business. They are. But they're dabbling in the hardware business. And if you are, and you want people to buy your hardware as well, which they do want people to buy, guess what, guys? Not just Xboxes, but Surfaces. Yeah. Okay. If you want them to buy these things, you have to have something that is to your customer specifically. And that's just the way it is. I don't care what we're talking about. You'll see commercials on TV for other products, and they'll go to our website for this time only. You can see this trailer on our site, on our this, on our that. Download our thing,
right? Yeah.
Exclusively.
I mean, if you look at here's the thing, right, Mooch? So I read this article the other day that was like talking about Netflix and how, everybody's like, Netflix is so great, and Netflix, and look, to be fair, Netflix has been good. And then it brings up how it was in particular about the stock, right? Because now Netflix is losing money and their stock is down because the competition is coming out, and you have Marvel, who is basically causing Netflix to cancel all those shows. Like Star Wars is all going to be gone off there. All the Marvel stuff's going to be gone off there. all the Disney content, ESPN, ABC, all that stuff going to be gone off the streaming service, and that's hard to replace. So they have to like basically spend much more money to create even more of their own content. And the same thing could happen for Game Pass. Like Sony could do something similar. Nintendo could do something similar. Somebody could, you know what I'm saying? Like right now, like it seems real good, but any of these companies could come in and throw a wrench into Microsoft's plans, you know, at any time. So I think they got to be a little bit careful about that going forward. Don't you? Mooch. Yeah. I
just did a 20-minute bit.
I
don't know.
Yeah,
sure. I agree with you. Yes. I was actually answering. I was answering Princess Christine in the chat. She says, you know, Mooch. She goes, Mooch. You know, Phil's got to make mistakes before he gets things right.
And he said that. He said that.
He did.
Well,
but he said multiple times he doesn't believe in keeping content off of.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing. Listen. Yeah.
He also said that he has never had a position like this either, and he is learning as he is going as well.
Sorry, Xbox. He did say that, but guess what? I'm not buying it. Here's my problem.
There's no sorry there. I said he said it.
You're right. He did say it. Guess what? Don't care. Here's the thing. He's been in that business for 20 plus years. So he knows the way the business runs. And exclusives have gotten every single platform to a certain degree of popularity and success.
Well, Mooch.
So I'm sorry. No, Xbox. If me or you became head of Xbox tomorrow, I would start with that sentence. Excuse me, everybody. Hi. Yes, I'm glad you guys voted me in this position.
All right.
I've never done this before. I may make some mistakes.
Think about some of the jobs you have had, like as a teenager and growing up. You might have been like, you know, bottom couple rungs of the ladder for a while, and you know, you had a supervisor or something like that, and you always thought to yourself, you know, if I had that position, you know what I'm saying, I would do this differently, and this differently. And you knew in back of your mind, half of the things that you would have done differently weren't really going to work. But you still, if you ever got that position, you might have tried to put
let me roll with your
ideas
example.
in there.
Let me roll with your example. If I was also that person before I got the supervisor position, but I saw that what my supervisor was doing was working, I wouldn't go in and change what was working. I would go in there and change the things that weren't working. Well, I'm just saying, we had exclusivity on multiple things like BioShock and other types of games in the 360 era, okay? And the list goes on and on. With some of it was time, some of it was years, okay? And then Phil was like, gamers are games, games are gamers. Well, stop the nonsense, okay? Because at the end of the day, it's a business.
If this was one of like Phil's like bright idea deals right here, first off, I really feel like this demo isn't like an Xbox exclusive. Like it's eventually going to go over to PS4 as well. And because like whenever you see the advertising for it, you know, play the demo first on Xbox. They're saying first on Xbox.
Right.
So it's definitely going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, they did confirm is going to other places later on. They didn't say when.
And
it doesn't matter. It's all about the word first is
all right. But
let me tell you something. I am enjoying the shit out of Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And this is not a Black Ops 4 versus Battlefield. It's not, no, stop it. I'm enjoying the shit out of that game. And when I see Call of Duty be like, you're getting this and this and this and this, and Xbox next week, I'm like, fuck. Because I want that. I understand, right? 7 days is better than 30.
But that remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. My other point with this demo is like it's a cool demo and everything like that. I think it's a good kind of like first step to show that Phil might be going a different direction when it comes to this like exclusive content, marketing deals, all that good stuff. But let's just be real. The demo is just incredibly short anyway.
I have some points here. Bottom line is that Phil knew what was going on when he said those things. The reason why he said those things is because he had to say those things. He was the main guy. And during that time, gaming just wasn't the priority that it is now. The funding was cut back. They didn't have the deals because of that reason. You got to spend money to get these deals. And at that time, if Microsoft's saying, hey, we're not going to give you that money, it's not a priority, these deals aren't a priority for us at this moment, then what is he supposed to do? Come out there and be like, well, my boss has told me we're cutting back funding. And,
you're saying he was just saying that for an excuse. Right?
Yeah, he was damage controlling it, and that's what
Yeah.
I would have said I would have not said anything.
These higher up people need to spin whatever way they need to spin. It's like the Avengers movie, right? Like months ago, people were like, "Oh, it's called Avengers Endgame," and then the Russo brothers came out and just basically lied. They said, "No, it's not," right?
Well,
and then months down the line, it comes out and it's Avengers Endgame, right?
I see where you're coming from, Salt, but guess what? All that ever does, what you just said, is bite you in the ass later. You've got Sony executives out there. Remember the executive Jack, what's his face, that come out and says, "Oh, who wants to play old games?" And now it's like, okay, now you have PS Classic. So my point being is that's fine. But if we're going to sit here and make fun of that Sony exec for saying that because that wasn't what their interest was back then, and now they're trying to capitalize on it now, then Phil is still under that same realm of being like, well, games are gamers. Gamers are games. Well, guess what, Phil? No, they're not. Okay, it's a business. You pitched a huge strategy to Satya Nadella, which is why you're sitting at the table, and it was a good pitch. But part of that pitch is getting exclusivity on your console or on your services. And that's just the way it is.
You know how business works, man. They have certain things, things that they go by, and it's fluid, right? It's not set in concrete.
But Saul, if me and you were the CEOs of a company, and I was asked that, and me and you made that decision behind the scenes, maybe it's because I'm old school. Maybe it's because I'm Italian. I don't know what it is. But I would not go out there and say something that I know later on I might renege on.
Yeah, but I don't remember
in a business.
I don't remember specifically if he was asked that question or he just straight up just said it, right?
Right. I don't. And that's a great point. I don't know the context.
If he just comes out and says, "Hey,"
right.
Like the thing that I had a problem with during the Game Awards is when Phil Spencer's like, it was really awkward, with Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
Oh, we can do a better job.
Thank you, Saul.
And I'm like, why are you saying this?
Why?
You don't need to say this, dude.
Here's the thing, right? So
100%.
Here's the thing, and it doesn't take much. I mean, you can just Google this, and these are two different things. 2016, Phil Spencer dislikes timed exclusives. He says paying marketing funds so another console base can't play a piece of content doesn't feel like growth. And that's not something that he wants to do anymore. He says console gaming needs growth, and it doesn't happen via game marketing deals and things like that. And then in 2017, he said he's not a fan of marketing deals with console exclusive content. He says, I don't know what deals get written. I've been pretty open about it. I'm not a fan of doing deals that hold back specific pieces of content from other platforms. You don't see that in the deals we've done with Assassin's Creed or Shadow of War. We'll have a marketing deal on those, but I don't say, hey, I need some kind of strike or skin somebody else can't play. I don't think it's good for our industry if we go to the point where people are holding back the technical innovation of game developers.
He's definitely done that.
Yeah, based on marketing deal. I don't know anything about and this is the guy who's
being interviewed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is
I believe this is probably around the time Destiny 2 came out, and they announced another year of exclusivity for PlayStation, and maybe that's why that whole conversation happened.
Yeah, I mean, you could be 100% right, Foxy, because
Destiny. Oh, sorry.
Well, he is a fan of Destiny, but he wasn't happy about that.
Who cares about that game? God.
Oh crap.
Oh crap.
Oh, come on, man. Destiny, really? Hey, come on. Hey, we're closing in on 200 likes, folks. Hit that like button. Let's go. Let's go.
Shout out to Tim, because he mentioned earlier, just because he doesn't believe in it doesn't mean that he won't do it. But I was thinking maybe it was offered to him because he has marketing rights for Devil May Cry. They probably said, here, we're going to throw you a bone, and then you push it because it's all over Twitter and stuff like that.
I don't blame Phil for taking it, but I mean,
might not do it when it comes to full retail games, like full release games.
It's just it's a nice little bone to throw your customers to say, here you go, guys. You own an Xbox. Go home and enjoy this game tonight on us. And we don't care how the deal was cut. Right? At the end of the day, we're just a consumer.
The clearest signs of the differences between 2016, 2017, And then this year is just look at the E3, the marketing rights that Xbox had, right? I mean, the proof's in the pudding there. They're getting games, you know, Devil May Cry consistently. I think before it came out at E3, people were saying it was going to be a PlayStation exclusive.
Right.
And all this kinds of shit. And you're seeing these games that are on there like Kingdom Hearts and all these traditional games that would be in the
Jump Force.
Yeah, all this stuff is on the stage. It's just like, it's just as clear as day. I mean, when did Game Pass get greenlit, right? It comes out the day, you could look it up. They're looking at the analytics there. It's just, it's blowing up. And it's just like, all right, let's start shoveling money into, let's buy developers, let's buy marketing rights, let's this and that and that. You know what I'm saying? So,
but it is. Listen, and don't get me wrong. We can do a timeline. We can see when that last 2017 was in comparison to when Game Pass was announced. We can do all that, Salt. But realistically, from the standpoint and the soapbox that Microsoft stands on, Phil coming out and saying the things that actually made the 360 so successful, saying he's so anti it, that right there really it killed a lot of spirits in the Xbox community. And now you're seeing him renege on it. And you know why he's reneging on it? He's seeing those numbers spike up because he's going to lock things down. He's going to get exclusivity back on his box again. And realistically, look, it's not a bash on Phil. Phil said something that maybe like Xbot was saying. When he was below the head guy, these were things he thought people would kind of clamor to. Guess what? They don't. They clamor to exclusivity. You know, shout out to Assassin, who's always on Twitter. He plays a lot of games.
Me, Assassin.
Right, but Assassin, here's the thing with Assassin. He's playing Call of Duty like crazy too. You know, when you have 30 days was killer. 7 days still feels like a really long week. And it's like I almost, myself personally, right? I got my hand in the air. Myself personally, when I saw Call of Duty, you guys saw me, I said it on Twitter. Black Ops 4 was $28 last weekend on sale. I almost bought it again for the PS4 because I was like, dude, I want to play some of this shit 7 days earlier. I want to enjoy that content. And
it is a shame. Like, here's the thing, right? Even though it's a week earlier,
it's only a week.
Like, it is only a week now, but still, it's like I would like to play some of that stuff earlier. You know what I mean?
People post shit and putting videos out, and you're like, "Fuck!" You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Realizes that now.
Yeah, but
you should.
You mentioned something about like things that work in the 360 era and things that like made the console successful. Wouldn't you say that the Kinect added to the success of the 360, added to its success? I would say so, because it was a feature that a lot of people used. It was very popular. The PlayStation 4 success is completely built around the 360 model. So what I'm saying is the Kinect was part of the success of the 360.
Yeah, but the PS4 they took their camera out of the box and it still worked. So that shows you it didn't need it.
So the approach of the 360 days doesn't hold water today because things changed, right? People were buying Kinects.
Right. They do change, but
it was
Microsoft
very
gambled
successful.
and lost.
So what I'm saying is you're pointing to the past for things that worked. But we're in 2018, you know what I'm saying? Like, things are different today. So just because it worked in the 360 days doesn't mean it's going to work today.
You know what never changes, Salt? The fundamentals. They don't change. No, they don't. They really don't. And I know what you're saying. Yes, let's not be ignorant to great change. Like what we're talking, we just said it. Putting Xbox on different devices, that was a huge no-no last generation. You're right. But having having something where I go, hey, Salt, if you join my club, you get this, and they don't. That still makes you join my club. And that's a fundamental thing that started probably before, in the 1700s, all right? And it goes right it goes before when we're all 6 feet under. That never goes away when you go, I'm going over to that place because when I go over there, I get that too, where if I go over there, I don't get it.
But you would have to agree that if that club is only offering you an exclusive pin, like a pin you put on your shirt,
right?
It's not too much weight there. And like, you're looking at some of these marketing deals, the things that they're giving you just don't warrant what you're saying. Like Red Dead Redemption 2, would you get a horse and a gun skin? Who gives a shit?
Right. So you get a horse and a gun shoot. That's all bullshit, right? But for Destiny, you get an extra mission And with other things, you get a week or 30 days prior of exclusivity. That's a big deal for a gamer. Because let me be honest with you, Salt. We talk about it and we podcast now. You know this well enough now. Okay, after 30 days, after a game comes out, people are like, 30 days from now, you know what people are going to say to you? Ashen who?
Yeah, but
it doesn't matter.
I think
so
it's
about today.
With the main title, like Call of Duty, right? It's the litmus test, if you want to say it.
Right.
They've reduced it down from 30 days to 7 days, and there's a reason there. Like,
absolutely,
there's something there that made them do that. And I don't know if it's blowback from the consumer, cash, whatever. They decided to say, hey, 30 days was too much. Like, the only game that I could really say that is just takes it to far extremes is Destiny. Like, that's the shit. You could say, well, Destiny is that example. You get this for a year. That's not happening in other games. Like, the typical amount of time or the stuff that you get for this shit, I don't know, man.
I mean, and it's hard to, you look at it like that, but there's a lot of games like, look at Nier Automata. That's not owned by Sony. They made a deal. Exclusivity. Now, it came to Xbox. It's on Xbox. It plays better on Xbox. But guess what? Damage is done.
Yeah, but that's like Ashen, right? I mean,
right
now we think that it's just an Xbox exclusive or PUBG, right? It's the wording, right?
Right.
They don't want you to know that it's coming to other consoles. That's the difference. But like when Call of Duty drops and they're saying this is exclusive content,
but Salt,
that content is coming over to another console.
Salt, you just proved my point. PUBG, okay? Phil did what he said. Phil did. Bless you. Phil did what he said he wouldn't do. He kept content off of another box with a third-party exclusive, sold 9 million copies on Xbox, and now it's released this week, last week on the PS4, and it's not doing very well. Guess what? That's my point. It did its job.
Mooch, you're forgetting that it needed to go into game preview. It could not release on PlayStation because they don't have a game preview. So that blows that out of the water.
Microsoft cut a deal, though. They cut a deal.
But Bluehole did not know how to do what they needed to do to port it over to consoles. So Microsoft said, "Hey, we want this on our console."
I gave you example. I gave you Nier Automata, and there's a million more on Sony's side. I give you PUBG, and you're saying neither works, but they work very well.
No, but these are two different things. We're talking about games that you cut a deal behind the scenes that you don't have any idea if they're going to any other consoles, right? There's no messaging out there, and then there's exclusivity when it comes to timed DLC or content that's in the game. That's completely different because you know that that's coming to the other consoles, right? When you have these games that are titled or marketed as exclusive to a console, they're not saying, hey, this is coming over eventually, or this and that. It's just ambiguous for like at least a year, right?
Unless you're Rise of the Tomb Raider, but go ahead.
Yeah.
What do people say at the end of the day? There's first place, and then you're just not second place. You're the first loser. And the point of the matter is that whether you're talking about content, right? Whether you're talking about content or whether you're talking about when you get it first, okay? And I don't remember. I didn't play enough Division to know this, but the Division, did Xbox have the DLC first?
Yeah, it's like for a month.
Right.
A month.
Right.
Yeah.
So there you go. They did it again. And that's what I'm saying. So like Phil's words, they don't add up.
I mean,
they don't make sense.
Did that move consoles? I mean, did that make a dent in the console race for having the Division consoles?
I think probably when they signed, like the games that they were trying to get originally were kind of fresh, like the Division and what was that one where it was 4-on-1? Evolve, remember? They like Evolve won how many?
They picked bad games.
Yeah, they picked horrible games. Good lord. That Evolve game was like hitting yourself in the nuts with a hammer repeatedly. Wasn't good.
My God.
Yeah, everything Microsoft touched with exclusive anything were the B games.
Yeah, or hey,
except for Witcher, but
they
the developer.
But yeah, you're right. Exactly. The developers like the Xbox One sucks.
Yeah,
like, what?
So even when they picked The Witcher, which was a great game, the developer was like, "I like Sony." You're like, "Fuck."
Yeah, Sony's great. I mean, yeah,
Titanfall 2.
You
like
can try to
Titanfall 2's
spin
an Xbox marketing rights, and they're like, "Blue discs matter." You're like, what?
Dude, I remember that. Like, I got like everybody was
So like everything was fighting.
And Fallout
Xbox
was the
back
same
then.
day as Rise of the Tomb Raider.
So
That was
it was
confusing.
just weird. It was weird that like
aren't sexy.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, though, you know, Saul, to your point, real quick, is that Sony picked Destiny. They picked Call of Duty. Why Microsoft let go of Call of Duty? I don't care.
All right, so Mooch, let's just say in a world that they never let that go.
Right.
There's not a dent in this console race, dude. There's nothing. I like how many millions of consoles get sold.
You know, it's funny you say that, but in the United States, first of all, the Xbox is not trailing by PlayStation by the large numbers you're seeing in the global event. Number two, the year that Microsoft did have Call of Duty, they won November and December those years. So Call of Duty does make a difference.
For a week. So
no, they won the NPD.
So if they won the NPD there, that's fine. Okay, it is what it is. But
well, I'm just giving you a number.
Call of Duty, it's a week of content. People don't. I'm sorry.
No, not a week. Dude. I'm talking about like you said. What's the difference? I can't speak. Listen, look at they can have exclusivity on every game. They're not going to win in Europe and Asia. Period. Done.
I think you're putting.
But what do MPDs mean now anyway, man?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, like
what's the question? I couldn't hear you.
The MPDs.
What do the MPDs mean now anyway? Now,
so they asked the question. What's the difference if they had Call of Duty all these years? And I said the years they had Call of Duty, they won the months that were November, December. They because Call of Duty is the 800-pound gorilla in the room. I'm not talking about DLC. I'm talking about just having the marketing rights.
Brother, this is what I'm saying, though. We recognize the fact that, you know, MPDs don't mean what they used to anymore. You know what I'm saying? So when we're putting it out there, we can't fall back on the MPD.
Xbox, you can't ask me a question like, what does this thing do for you? And then I go, this is what it does for you. And you're like, well, I don't want to use those. Well, what do you want me to say? That's the metric.
You're pulling some figure that I'd have to pull out of my ass. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not pulling anything out of my ass. It's documented.
No. Here's the deal. You're saying that it's a correlation 1-to-1, and that's not how it goes, Mooch. That's not how it goes. Like, why? What console came out there? What would Call of Duty
do for them? I said
they won MPD. Did the Xbox One S come out? Did the Xbox One S release? Because that's during the time, right? A new console launches, right? They win MPD. Who gives a heck of beans, right? You're 1-to-1 in this shit, and it doesn't. Okay. That's not the way it works.
But I'm going to sound like you now. What does a new console release have to do with exclusive content?
Because you know when there's modifications to the console, especially the Xbox, when it looks like a fucking VCR.
But having
it looks like a VCR, and then you get the Xbox One S that has a Blu-ray player in it.
There's a fork in the road. You guys have just made the fork 5 different ways. What are we talking about right now? You asked me, what does Call of Duty do?
So what I'm saying,
right? I told you
what I'm saying is your argument is resting on this Call of Duty timed exclusive stuff, right? The marketing.
Timed exclusive is my argument, not Call of Duty. You guys are branching. Okay,
so but you used Call of Duty as that.
That's one example. Destiny also works.
Xbox lost it, you know, and that you know they won MPD because of this. What I'm saying is you got to look at the other shit. It's not because they won MPD because they had the marketing rights to COD. There's other shit that goes in there, and I don't really have
the years that they won COD. The years that they won the MPD that I'm referring to with COD, they didn't have. That was the Xbox One Fat, the day one.
Yeah. The last time they had that was
it does make a difference. You guys can say you don't think so, and that's fine. That's your opinion, but it does. It frankly does. And people don't spend $50 million on marketing rights because it's just fun to spend. You know what I mean? So like they're doing it for Sony's not doing it because they're bored. You know, it's like it works.
I mean, so it is what it is. I mean, it goes back.
It is what it is.
I mean, Xbox has all these marketing rights now for all these other games, but it's like, is it flip flopping in the numbers? No, I mean,
no, because they're still buying the B-League games.
No, Kingdom Hearts isn't B-League.
Fallout 76, which you have done 75
Kingdom
videos.
Hearts, Devil May Cry, all these other games that they're showing off at E3.
That's next year. We'll see how they do. But you just told me I can't.
Xbox,
you just told me I can't use numbers and metrics, and now you're talking about things that haven't come out.
So what I'm telling you by your numbers, you're saying, oh my God, these marketing rights, they switched.
Right, and we'll find out next year.
So all these PlayStation owners are just rushing out of after E3 announcements.
Xbox
oh my God, I need to get an Xbox because I need to get.
If Xbox has exclusive content for 30 days on that Disney game, guess what? You will see PlayStation people buy an Xbox for it. Yes, you will. That's the allegiance you see on Twitter. I don't know.
You're putting out 30 days. I mean, 30 days, does that exist anymore? Even on Call of Duty, it's
I don't know.
Now. We're getting a horse. We're getting a gun skin. More than likely, you get some exclusive gear in the game. Is that going to move a console? No, it's not.
Listen, Red Dead Redemption 2 plays better, looks better, feels better, etc. better on Xbox.
Okay.
But PlayStation paid for the exclusive stuff, which is nothing, right? But the marketing rights.
No, but
they're killing it.
No, but it plays better on the Xbox, and it's by numbers. You see people that are PlayStation homers that tweeted out, I'm going to go play this on the Xbox.
And they still bought it on PlayStation. PlayStation's like, thanks.
No.
The people that you're talking about, yes.
Greg Miller,
the people you're talking about, they bought it on PlayStation, then they bought it again on Xbox.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, it is what it is. It's situational, what you're saying with these marketing rights. Not everyone is going to be a Destiny. None of them are going to be like Destiny, because I don't know how the hell that they swung that deal. I mean, maybe Bungie was super salty on Microsoft and all this other shit. But you don't see stuff like that. You see 7 days. You see a horse skin. You see that sounded like something else. You see a gun skin or whatever, this and that. It's minimal at best. I don't give a shit if a COD map comes out a week early. I'll do something else for a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. Like,
well, that's you.
I don't care. No, the general public is not switching over consoles to get content a week early. I'm sorry, it's not happening.
Hey, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I have to, let me just say this real quick. I think that maybe this gen, everybody's got their mind made up for the most part. It's like PlayStation, right? Like Microsoft. They did a really smart thing with the Xbox One X. And remember, they sent it to all these influencers, right? With all these third-party games, hoping that people would play it. And what did I tell you would happen, Mooch? They wouldn't. They'd go back to playing the PlayStation 4 versions.
Yeah.
Why did they go back to playing the PlayStation 4 versions, though, Mooch?
Listen, I think it's
like
because
Destiny,
of their marketing.
Right? Like Destiny, right? These people that
time, content, and marketing work.
Destin Legary, right?
Yeah.
He is a Xbox guy, supposedly.
Right.
He does a lot of Destiny content. He's on the Xbox show or whatever. But at the same time, he was playing Destiny on PS4.
Yep.
Because
of the content.
Because of the content. So I do think it is, but I don't know if it's as big of a deal this generation, because there's such a gap between what Sony and Microsoft are doing. But I have seen
like double the install base. So you know what? Red Dead better be killing it on PC, on PS4. It's got to have at least double. The game.
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it to you guys. If you go into anywhere and they say, listen, if you come in here, I'll give you a ticket, and when you leave, you get a free slice of pizza, right? The other place you go into has the same bar, same setup, same music, but you don't get the slice when you leave.
What?
A lot of people go in for the ticket. Maybe you don't. That's fine. But most people will they'll be like, I'm going over here because I get free pizza at the end.
Man,
that's the way it is.
This whole Destiny argument, you throw that out of the water, you throw that out of the equation, because that is the outlier of this data equation. I mean, Crap just went back to it with Destin Legary. That is such a skewed thing. You can't even use it as a comparison, because no other games do this shit. They don't do a year. They don't do any of the stuff that Destiny's doing. So you take that out. You take it out, because Destin Legary, he has his own YouTube channel. It's a personal channel. If you get that content early and you get it, it's that drastic and you're a content creator, yes, you're going to go play it on PlayStation. But you throw Destiny out of the equation, you put everything else back in, it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't. I'm sorry.
Well, you can also use Call of Duty, right? When Call of Duty switched marketing rights, you went from the pros all using Xbox and everybody buying it on Xbox to the pros using PlayStation 4 and everybody buying it on PlayStation 4.
That's what I was just gonna say.
I kind of agree a little bit with both, but I do think that there is a significance to some of these bigger games. If Microsoft, I think it behooves Microsoft to have some of the bigger games, because what happens is, even if you don't have something spectacular, look at the way Sony marketed Red Dead 2. They put exclusive on a lot of those boxes for whatever the hell reason they're allowed to get away with. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Right?
Weird.
It's like, exclusive. And then you read with your magnifying glass and it's like one horse for 1 week with a revolver that has a pink trigger. You know what I mean?
We talk about casuals all the time, and the reason Game Pass is such a success because the casuals are like, guess what? I'll pay $120 a year and get all those games. Princess Christina in the chat says a casual would see a commercial and see Xbox or PlayStation logo on the end and buy it for that console, unless they're somewhere and smart enough to realize it's on both platforms. But listen, I got news for you guys.
People out there like that.
But that's the majority. And it's funny because I have family members. They know I love games. They know I'm an Xbox fan, right? I even have a ridiculous, when people are like, let's wear an ugly Christmas sweater. I have an Xbox One. People know I have an Xbox One. Like, I'm wearing Xbox shit everywhere. And it's like, I always wear Xbox, but at the same time, they're still like, oh, I bought it on PlayStation. I'm like, why? They're like, oh, I saw the commercial, so I bought a PlayStation. Like, what? Like, what? Like, but that's the mentality. That's why it's the same reason I say, why do Coke and Pepsi spend $25 million for a 25-second ad in the Super Bowl? People know that Coke and Pepsi are the leaders in cola. They do it because people keep seeing the brand recognition. And when you stand there in the supermarket and you see RC Cola, all right, for $6 for a 12-pack, and you see the $8 12-pack for the Coca-Cola, you buy the Coca-Cola. Why? I don't know why. Because it looks cooler in your fridge. Because it's on TV.
They better be selling a shitload of Xboxes then in the near future with all these marketing rights that they.
Hey, I'm going to sound like you in the beginning of the show. Xbox Game Pass, millions of customers. Right? I mean, listen, I'm just saying the brand is the brand, Assault. And listen, part of having that brand is what we said earlier. I don't remember if it was you or Crap. But having Microsoft Xbox branded with a box in your living room every time someone comes into your house and sees it is a big deal. It's a huge deal. And that's all part of this market. Buying the games, getting the content, getting the exclusives, getting the time content, having the box in the house. It's all mind share. And Sony did that this generation, and Microsoft's starting to do it yesterday. And it's like, okay, that's good. So now they're prepping for next gen. So let's see what they got. But if you ignore timed content, timed exclusives, you're not going to, you have to pay attention to that part of the pie.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah. You know what? This was you guys, man.
Well,
I love it.
Me and Salty will be airing tomorrow night, and we'll also be at your local show theater.
Here, like you guys, it's your first take, right? It's like one of you Skip Bayless, one of you Shannon Sharp, and you guys go back and forth, and I love it, man. That should be a new show, man.
That would be a good show, Salt.
It actually would be a good show.
I like that Salt's on the show, because you know what? Xbox Nation's always had like a great mooch, and then it was like at the beginning it was like GKB.
Yeah.
Me and Fox always have a good time with Battlefield 5. And me and Salt got great marketing battles. It's awesome. Like, that's what makes it a great show.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. 100%. It is. I mean, we get to sit back and enjoy that. Like, me and, we're all just kind of looking at each other.
Hey,
like,
I hope Crap puts us in the starring credits.
Yeah, I mean, that was awesome. You know what I mean?
Enjoyed it myself, to be honest with you.
Pay the bills.
Yeah. Oh, well, hold on. Let's see what do we got? I don't see any bills. I don't.
X-Man, X-Man.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, okay.
He took a jab at me.
Deep dish pizza mooch.
Yeah. He's got
the abomination.
I don't know about this, sir.
I don't know. If you're using Crisco inside your pizza, there's a problem.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't use Crisco in New York.
Yeah, that's not great. That's not great. I'm just saying. Yeah, it's not great.
If you're gonna go deep dish, you gotta go A grade and just get Sicilian.
Oh, Black Silver 83 says, "Hey, Crap. So what's the PS4 program that runs 13 frames per second? PUBG, bitches.
Yeah,
they tested that out on the PS4 Pro. You guys get 1440p on that PS2 looking game, but 13 frames per second. Woo! I mean, it goes a little bit higher than that, up and down, but man, as low as 13 frames per second. Holy crap! Is that a PS2 or a PS4? Bum. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached around 2 hours. Please hit that like button, share it, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, time flies when Mooch and Salty are going back and forth. That's
time flies when you're eating popcorn and listening to the guys go back and forth.
I was munching on Starburst and Diet Mountain Dew.
Well, Crap before the show was like, hey, guys, I didn't get a lot of sleep, so guess what? Take it away. Me and Salt, we took it away.
Yeah,
exactly. So I really appreciate it. Mooch, Mooch,
Yes.
what do you got going on?
Well,
I know we've got MNC tomorrow. Woo! That's right. We switched that shit around on you guys.
Yep.
We got to do MNC tomorrow because Mooch ain't going to be around on Sunday.
Yes.
Sir X-Man says Chicago style deep dish. No matter how many times, unless it's about a 50 spot, then I'll agree.
If I am in Chicago, I wouldn't mind mooching a pie and hanging out. It'll be a good time, Sir X-Man. Absolutely.
Exactly. So what's going on, Mooch?
Well, we got a stacked week left, crap. We got MNC show tomorrow before Salty's show, and it'll be your channel, 7 o'clock Eastern time, Crap's channel right here, guys. You're already here now. And then Crossfire, and I've got a special guest. Huge fan of his show. I'm going to wait. I'll release it on Friday. Big time show. Big time YouTuber. He's got a lot of subscribers. Well, of course, Crap will be there. But this gentleman also has a lot of subscribers.
Johnny Podcast. Oh,
Johnny P. He's making an appearance, man.
Johnny P can come back next week. Not this Friday. We'll book Johnny P next week.
Gotcha.
But nonetheless, 7 p.m. Eastern time, the Mooch 78. Go over, click it. And guys, guess what? During me and Crap generally, I'm not going to mention it now, but generally we take a bit of a break over the holiday week, Christmas, New Year's. I've decided I'm going to try and get a couple videos out that week and see how it goes. So go over and subscribe to the Mooch. See what's happening. See what the deal is with some of these games. We'll figure it out.
Exactly. Salty, what do you got going on, man?
Hey, we got the Saltiest Gaming Podcast tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. I just got my 4K TV in the mail, so I'm kind of just going to get to that. Been looking forward to that jump. It's going to make me a better gamer, right?
It is going to make you a better gamer. You might as well go down in the description, look for the merch, get that shirt, man. It's about $20, dude. Wear the shirt, take a picture with the shirt in front of your 4K TV.
I hope Foxy asked somebody for a 4K TV.
Oh, that's true.
That'll fit down a chimney, even in Miami.
Hell yeah.
You know how
have chimneys?
No. I mean, sometimes.
Sorry about that. You know how I got mine? I actually switched to T-Mobile, and they were doing this promotion. I don't know how it worked out, but I got a Samsung 50-inch TV for free. So, I mean,
nice.
Wow.
That's got hashtag Mooching written all over it.
That's right.
Samsung has been promoting Xbox more than Xbox, to be honest.
Yeah,
I saw
save that for next
pew,
week,
pew,
Fox.
pew, pew, pew. One last shot. I had to do it. I saw their newest ad.
Oh, man. That is great. Foxy, what do you got going on, Foxy?
Oh, making videos, sharing deals as always.
Sharing deals, huh?
Yes. Well, since you mentioned it, obviously, you guys can get Monster Hunter Worlds right now for $25 on Xbox.
Great
Pick
game.
it up. I hear it's the best RPG.
Bye. It's fun.
Oh.
Yeah,
Nice.
but
I got 50 plus hours into it. It's
With
fun.
that free Witcher update coming, man.
Yeah.
Wow,
I hear
really?
Good things.
Heck yeah, dude.
Interesting.
It's a great game.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue with you. So so.
He's like, I'm not playing it, but I won't argue with you.
Yes, good game. If you guys say so. Xbot 479, what do you got going on, bro?
Well, as usual, Friday I will be on Crossfire with my Crossfire family, and I actually have an announcement for next podcast this Saturday, 7 p.m. We are going to have a special guest, his first time on my channel.
Mooch.
None other than Mr. Chris Steele himself.
Nice, very
nice.
He's going to be hanging out with us on next podcast. I cannot wait, man. This is going to be a great show.
That's an awesome show.
Everybody out there, you got to tune in. You got to tune in Saturday.
And tune in to see if I beat Jamie Moran's ScarJo gift, because I probably did.
I can't wait to see it.
Just saying. Anyway, hit that like button. Let's see if we can get as many likes as we can. And we really appreciate you coming out. Great time. Check out all these fine people's channels. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys next time. Game on.
Peace.
Later.